Hey everybody, and welcome to my sewing room. If you haven't been here before, my name is Rosemary and this is Enchanting Rosemary Sewing and Embroidery. Okay, so I thought today we would get back to PE design software. We haven't done anything with PE design software for a little while, and I don't know about where you're at, but here in Colorado, the weather is just beautiful. And I know that it's April, and that does not promise that the snow is gone. But right now, it's absolutely gorgeous outside. It makes me start thinking about spring and summer. So I thought it would be really fun to show you how you can get a shape off of your scan and cut and bring it into your software and turn it into an embroidery and then embroider it out on something. So let's go to the scan and cut and get started. Okay, so there's a couple of steps to this, but this is a way that you can get some different kinds of shapes and stuff like that. So I want an ice cream shape that I can make into an embroidery, and I know that there's one in my scan and cut, so I'm going to take it from there. So if I push patterns and go into here, there's the food one right here. And they've got a lot of little fun shapes and stuff like that. And these are really fun to make into embroidery. So I'm going to do an ice cream cone. And it's pretty small, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay. And I could pick these one at a time if I wanted to, but I can also pick all of them together like this and say, okay, and set that down. Now this is all one piece, and I want to separate them so I can add color to them and get different shapes. So in order to do that, what do? I push edit, object edit. Here's the group button. So now I've ungrouped it. I'm going to tap just anywhere on the screen. And now all three of these are different like that. So now I'm going to save it. So if I say okay and okay, I have a save button. I could save this to a USB stick, but I can also, since I have this set up wirelessly, I can send this to my computer. So I'm just going to hit this, and it's going to say saving. And it says it saved it. So let's go back to my computer and let's see where we can find this and be able to bring it into the PE Design 11. Okay, so this may seem like a long drawn out way about getting to making an embroidery, but let's face it, not all of us are really artistic, and sometimes we just need a little bit of help. So this is a way that you can find some shapes that you can borrow from your scan and cut, and you can use them to make them into an embroidery. So what we're going to do first is we're going to open up Canvas Workspace. And I have the desktop version of Canvas Workspace right here. That's the best way to get it, is just download the desktop version. I also have it already open, so I'm going to open it right here. So here's my Canvas Workspace. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to I got to think about this for a minute. File, import from your cutting machine right here. So I'm going to import an FCM from my cutting machine, and voila, there's the ice cream cone that I just sent. That was easy, wasn't it? But now that I have it on my Canvas workspace, I could make some editing changes and stuff like that if I wanted to, but it pretty much looks exactly the way I want it to look. So I'm going to go ahead and send that to my PE design software. And in order to do that, I have to go under File, Export, Transfer FCM file, and I want to transfer via the internet. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Duh. Sorry. I always have to think about this a little bit. Let's see. Export, export. That's the one I want, is the first one. The first one, since I've done this before, it automatically will go to my scan and cut class file, which is what I have under my documents. But you could make a file that you, whatever you want to call it, you can call it your FCM files or whatever, but that's where you want to do it, and you want to name it something. And I'm going to just name it ice cream and save. And since I already did this once, it's already there, but I would say yes to replace it because this one's a little bit different in size. So now I've sent that to my PE Design software. So now I'm going to minimize this and I'm going to open my PE Design software. So I'm in Layout and Editing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the Scan and Cut tab. And then I'm going to push Import. And it's going to open up that folder. And there's my ice cream. And I'm going to import that. And then close it. Now, it's grouped together. That's what the blue dotted dash lines always mean, is it's grouped. But it's very easy to just right-click, and ungroup it. So now it's ungrouped. Each one of these, if you look at them, let's go under View. It's under Realistic. So let's go Home, Zoom in. And the way I'm zooming in, I'm going to do that again. Let's just push Undo. Oops. Okay, I goofed. I accidentally pushed undo too many times. So I'm back to where I was before. So what I wanted to show you was basically, I always want to try and go slower when I'm showing something on PE Design, and sometimes I get in a hurry. So I'm going to do this very slowly. I want to zoom in on this so we can see it. So I'm going to hit the plus sign, which is going to allow me to zoom in. And that's up here in this corner, next to the shapes. There's the plus and the minus. I'm hitting the plus sign. And then I'm going to literally left click and then pull on my mouse. So I'm dragging a box around it like that. And then when I let go of it, it zooms in on it for me. And that's the best way to zoom in on something, to get it really close and see it. But what I wanted to show you was that I have stitches here now. It's no longer an FCM file. It is literally an embroidery stitch file. So once I've done that, then when I select it and have a box around it, I have my shapes menu. Remember, I talked about that before in one of the previous videos, the shapes menu. And if I hit that, then I have a running stitch, which is what's applied to this. But that doesn't mean that I couldn't put the down arrow and say, I want to make it a satin stitch instead. And I want to make it pink. And I want to put a fill in there. So let's do a programmable fill, and then come over here and hit sewing attributes. And then in sewing attributes, if we scroll down, since we have programmable fill, you have a programmable fill button here. And I'm going to hit the little file icon here. And then I'm going to look for something that I want to do this ice cream in. And well, I was thinking there was another one in here. Let's see what this one looks like. Okay. Let's zoom in on this. That's an interesting one. I don't think I've ever tried that one before. Huh. Okay. Let's go back over here. These are all like stamp patterns that you can put in there. Um, this is the one I was trying to find. So say okay. I kind of like that. I think it's kind of fun. And if I wanted to go the other direction, see over here where it says direction, I can just take it and turn it like this and get a completely different look for my ice cream. So let's hit this and come out, zoom all. Whenever you have the zoom button on there, no matter what you do, you zoom. So always come back over and get your selector button so that way you can see what you're doing here. So I've got that one on there. I'm not crazy about that purple color though. So let's change this to pink. So there's a pink one. And then let's select this one and we're going to make this a satin stitch as well. And we're going to do a programmable fill stitch. And then we're going to come over here. And if I'm not wrong, programmable fill, there is something that kind of looks like a waffle stitch. And the color is going to be brown. This color needs to be brown as well. Oh, and if you're doing this and it's hard to see, all you have to do is hit the color, come down here and say show color palette. This will switch over to the color palette and you can do, this is the line sew, but you can also do the region sew and find the color that you want. I prefer this mode better than the one that shows numbers. I can see it better. So I'm going to change the color of that. And then if I go into the line, I can change both of those to be the same color. And then let's go home, zoom in, and I have like an ice cream cone there. I kind of like that. It looks pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to go up to this one and we're going to get the selector key and we're going to use this and we're going to go to shapes and make this, well, let's see, brother embroidery colors. I don't know what dark brown looks like. That's dark brown. Okay, so then let's make it a satin stitch. And then let's do region. Whoops. Got to make it a fill stitch. Or let's make it a programmable fill stitch. Sewing attributes. Go down. Find your programmable fill. Okay. Change the direction. I'm going to go back in here again. What would happen if we use this one? Doesn't really look that much like ice cream no matter what. But anyway, oh, let's change this to the right color. So when I come back over here to the color palette, and I hit region sew, I know that these colors down here are the same colors I've already used. So if I choose this dark brown, it's going to turn out the same dark brown that that one is. So now let's go home and let's go to Zoom All. So now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to put it here, and this one, and I'm going to put it here. And now I have an ice cream cone. Is that fun or what? I want to come over here and show you that this is doing the cone first, and then the pink fill, and then the pink outline. And if I hit the plus sign here, it's going to do the inside brown and then the outside brown. So it's going to do that in the order that I wanted it to be. So that should come out pretty good. So there's one more thing I want to show you now that we've got this completely finished, and that is undersewing. So this ice cream cone, if I go into my design settings, is a 5x7 hoop. Okay, so then if I look at down here at the bottom, it's telling me that my ice cream cone is 5.64 inches in height. That's from this part to this part down here. So it's not a big design, but it's not a small design either. And the programmable fills can be a little bit dense. So I want to make sure I put undersewing under there. So if I select just the chocolate one and I come over here where it says sewing attributes, you will notice that up here at top it says line sew, and then down here it says region sew. So there's undersewing in my satin stitching, and there's undersewing in my fill. The fill is always the region sew, and it has a check mark next to it, and it's saying I'm going to do this kind of a undersewing, and it's showing you a picture down here of what it looks like. So this one here is going to be even more complicated. I don't think I need that much undersewing, but I do need some kind of undersewing in there so that it sews it to the stabilizer first, and then it starts working on that fill so it doesn't get messed up. And I've got my density set at medium. I don't need it to be really dense or really light. So that's probably exactly where I want it to be. So, and you also have the opportunity to change it here if you really need to mess with it a little bit and make sure that you get it exactly the way you want it to be. So let's just, and then of course I have to do it with all three of them. So each one of them I have to make sure I have undersewing on it. But let's just watch down here, right here, how this is going to sew out. And the way that you do that is you push the play button. Let's let's slow it down just a little bit. Okay, now let's push the play button again. And you will see as it's sewing it that it is going to do that undersewing first, and then it's going to start doing the fill stitch. And it's going to do that with all three of them. And that's going to make my embroidery come out just a little bit better. So I hope that was kind of a fun project for me to show you how to do, and a way to use some shapes and make something. I could take this little ice cream cone and I could make a placemat where I could put on there, ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. Or I could just put, I love summertime on there. I could put it on a little tote bag. I could make it a lot smaller. And because this is something I've created in the software, it's no problem whatsoever for me to get my selector button, come over here, just drag this smaller, have a little tiny, and it's such a simple little shape. So I would probably, if I was going to do that, I would go ahead into my shapes menu and just say to just do a regular fill. I'm up here in the line sew instead of the fill. Let's just make that a regular fill and make this one a regular fill. We'll leave the cone the way it is because I like the way that looks like a real cone. And then I could take it like this, and I could do Control D and duplicate it. And maybe change the colors or something like that. If I was going to leave them all the same color, I can actually come up here and tell it to sort the colors. So it does all the brown at the same time, all the pink and all the, I mean, all the tan, all the pink, and all the dark chocolate brown. So you could do that too. That's kind of a fun thing to do. And then you could put that on a shirt or something like that. So there's lots of fun things that you can do once you've created a real basic little embroidery design. One of the things I might do, um, if I select this, is I might turn off the undersewing because I don't think I need quite so much undersewing for something so small. I don't know. I'd have to sew it out and see what it looks like. But anyway, I thought that was a fun project. Some information about things you can do with your embroidery software without having to be some kind of a fabulous artist, and get you so you know the tools a little bit better. So I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, so I have to confess I haven't embroidered anything out. I actually thought that I might make a pillow for you or something like that with those little ice cream cones, and I didn't get anything done. But I still think it was a really fun video for you to watch to see how easy it is, no matter where your skill level is, to just quickly make up your own little embroidery and make something as a gift for the summer. You could put that on a towel or on a pillow or a table runner, on something like that, whatever comes to mind. So I hope you learned something today, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.